Hello and welcome to the latest in Real Stories, our bite-sized format of our Do More With Less podcast. We're twinning our monthly Do More With Less interviews with marketing leaders, business leaders, shorter, snappier, punchier sessions where we get really down to the grind of real day-to-day life in business, how we are making do more with less work. AI has exploded into marketing's purview, into business's purview, into the budget holder's purview, as arguably the single biggest key issue of our time. Now, it was always going to be on our agenda sooner rather than later, and while this won't be the last time AI is at the centre of the Do More With Less conversation, I am absolutely delighted to have here with me an authority on AI in Hawker Zaffer. As well as being the COO of Enterprise Gen AI platform Squirro, Lauren is host of the 2024 New York Digital Award-winning tech podcast Redefining AI. She's also known as a top voice on artificial intelligence on LinkedIn. And by the way, just because that podcast won its award in 2024, don't let it kid you. That podcast has been doing its thing since 2022, so for 3 years longer than the business world jumped on this as, again, a key issue of our time. Lauren's been right at the heart of it, trying to explain what it means to us, not just as business people, but as human beings. So, Lauren, welcome. I think you joined us today from Zurich, where you live.
Yeah, exactly. It's wonderful to be here. I'm really excited about the opportunity to talk with you today, Mark. I'm based in Zurich in Switzerland. I've been here for quite a long time, originally from Scotland, but joining everyone that's listening today and yourself from Zurich. Yep.
Well, thanks for being here. How's it been in the last 12 months as when OpenAI launched ChatGPT and made it as mainstream as anything, as shopping in Sainsbury's or Tesco? How's it been watching that emerge and explode onto the scene?
Now, as you mentioned in your introduction, Mark, I have been involved in very curious about technology, AI in particular, for quite a long time. As my role as CEO, I've been in the organisation for just over, coming up for 5.5 years. So in the sense, I am one of maybe the old timers in the AI space. There's a lot of younger individuals that have certainly also built an affiliation with the organisation and the space itself. But I think that it's certainly been a journey that has provided immense learning opportunities. Anyone who is in the space, in particular, not only AI, because AI has been around for many, many years, let's not dispute that. It's very factual in the sense that AI and the prominence and the way that we actually have like common connotations around the impact of AI, that has occurred, as you mentioned, because of the commercialization or the accessibility to tools, generative AI tools like ChatGPT. So one thing that's quite interesting is at the end of 2023, I'd say the start of 2024, there was this hype. Everyone wanted to try out the generative AI tools, the latest and greatest. We saw that not only from a sort of market development perspective, but also from a business perspective in trying to sell generative AI to institutions. Everybody wanted to try it out, so we had a lot of in-house tech teams. They wanted to play with the software. They wanted to understand the capabilities. So there was a sort of overflux of excitement in every single positive direction.
It feels like since OpenAI made its initial moves and has kept going ever since, and now there's a huge number of different platforms people can access quite quickly, quite cheaply, quite freely. It feels like people in your position need to somehow keep control of the direction of the conversation. It's going in a number of different ways, not just about business opportunity, but about the things we all should know. It feels like there must be an urgency in you to help your clients calm down and explore properly, strategically, like they would any new addition to a business toolkit.
Of course, definitely. But one thing that I want to sort of emphasize is that I quite recently wrote, I have an AI newsletter as well on LinkedIn, and I quite recently wrote a piece on the convergence of technologies. And the piece is actually about the fact that we are in all directions hearing a thunderclap of super exponential growth, and this sort of systemic shift in how we're thinking about where we are within the current industrial revolution and also the next industrial revolution. And one thing that is so magnificent from the perspective of those that are interested in AI, just from a technological standpoint, is that at the heart of all of this convergence between 5 of the biggest technologies at the moment, the electrifying component is artificial intelligence. It is an undeniable force. And I mean, the convergence that AI has impacted, the technologies that are interplayed around that sort of grand symphony of convergence are things like, cryptocurrencies. We've got the autonomous mobility industry. We've got multi sort of momic technologies, we've got genome development, we've got precision therapies. So all of these have been supercharged by artificial intelligence. And going back to your point, what is of essence is that people need to really understand that this is something that has huge impact on how we live. It can be, we can take it from a nefarious angle and look at the disadvantages of AI. We can look at how it will badly impact society. And I think that there's a lot of scholars, a lot of research, and also a lot of thought leaders that don't deny that it won't have nefarious impacts and bad impacts. But there's also the way that it's been used for good. Some of the episodes that I've highlighted on redefining AI is that there's a lot of females actually in particular that are using AI for good, about wonderful females that are using AI to stop human trafficking. So there's a lot of AI for good that I'm also an avid supporter of, to make sure that we can understand the extensive possibilities of this technology from both a good and a bad perspective.
That's amazing. That's a really positive thing to hear. But also through challenging economies and changing customer expectations, we're being asked to do more with less. Can we start thinking about the business side by just giving our listeners a very, very quick summary and introduction of what you guys do at Squirro, what you help with, what you advise, who your customers are, what they come to you for?
Yeah, definitely. I understand the philosophy and can certainly see why it has been birthed from the sort of collaboration and correspondence with AI and the public accessibility to it. So Squirro is a generative AI enterprise platform. That means that we offer a generative AI platform to a variety of different industries. Our main focus is financial services, and we also focus on heavy regulated industries. So we work with extremely complex organisations like the European Central Bank, Bundesbank, Bank of England, Standard Chartered Bank. And we're looking at making sure that we can offer generative AI solutions that will help them essentially do more with less, but also to make sure that they can have a supercharged nucleus of an accessible data point to either converse with in a human fashion or to identify particular elements that wouldn't have been identifiable without the ability to converge and make a confluence of data points. There's many different use cases that we service because we're a platform provider. So it's about the ability to provide this orchestration layer so that the business can address the needs and provide value from what they have identified. Now, doing more with less in that sense, there's also quite a few popular use cases that have emerged because of the capabilities of generative AI, and also the capabilities of sort of the synergy between other technologies. So the one thing about Squirro is that it's not just what we would classify as a retrieval element with the generative element. It's also, we bring together the probabilistic, which can be aligned with an LLM retrieval from a system, but we also combine this with the deterministic. So we're looking at making sure that not only your data and your information, but the knowledge in your organization is accessible. So this is about understanding your processes. It's understanding the knowledge in every individual's head. And this magic, making that happen, there's endless possibilities of being able to do more with less in an organization. And some of our listeners might have heard about, agents, agentic workflows. Yep. This is the fundament of agents and agentic workflows. So there's this beautiful diagram that I use quite often when I'm talking about how you can possibly, and it's not necessarily eliminate, because people get scared about this. They think that, it's elimination of humans. And to some extent, it possibly could be an elimination of a small proportion of humans if you are to replace a human with an agent. Now, an agent essentially it can be as simple as just an automated workflow. Mm-hmm. So let's say you're working in manufacturing, you have a supply chain, and there's certain humans that do certain tasks within that supply chain. Now, what you could have is you could have a computer system, maybe a meta agent, like a platform, that was able to replace what a human was doing with an automated workflow, a little agent. Now, these agents can be a one-task agent, it can be a workflow agent. It can also be multi-agents that are working on multiple workflows. And what we've seen in the space as well is that there's a lot of manufacturers in particular that they want to reduce their operational costs. They want to increase the quality. They want to enhance throughput rates. They want to automate maybe first and second support, where generative AI is an extremely good use case for this, especially agentic workflows. To me, what's always important, Mark, is it's actually changing how your organization works. It's going to a data-driven approach. And, you hear a lot in organizations that people, even amongst ourselves, we're like, where's the data? You have to use a data point. And this is exactly the alternative. This is what is bringing a data-driven mindset into an organization.
Tell me this. When you talk about endless possibilities, I think there are certain... I won't try and differentiate from like traditional boards and modern progressive boards. I'll just say there are some boardrooms that endless possibilities would they'd hear those words and go, this is incredible. Think what if we drill our people to be active, curious, entrepreneurial, and let them off the leash a little bit to go and build their own things. This could change not just our delivery, our service, our provision, our products, but the whole culture of the way we work, the whole culture of work. I think there are some boardrooms that would be scared witless by the idea of endless possibilities because it implies kind of losing an element of control and disciplinary function and all of that stuff. Do you think this technology in the years to come will change top to bottom and side to side the culture of work and what it means to work? Do you think it could change the way work occurs?
100%. I think that anyone that is in AI or anyone that works within a tech organization understands the impact that this technology will have. And that's quite a generic statement, but I don't want to go into, we could go into endless avenues of, as we've mentioned, it's so complex in the sense that organizations also sometimes don't really understand what it will take for them to change their working practices. I've been in a lot of C-suite discussions where you have the mindset of the CFO that is automation, multi-agent workflow. We can save money, we can increase revenue.
Decrease headcount.
If we decrease headcount, which is one sort of street that has a light of exploration. Then you'll hear maybe the chief information officer that also has a similar mentality, and maybe the head of AI and data that's excited about the technology and the capabilities of exploring what can be done in an organization. But there's also many, and it sometimes becomes like that sort of boring. And again, if you're in the field, you always sort of see this bad data in, bad data out. And that's not, I mean, it's common because it's true as well. Organizations need to sort the fundament of their organization before they can revolutionize their workforces. There's still a lot of limitations in many organizations about what technology or what generative capabilities are introduced for the collective, because the technology is still in progression. It's not been around that long in its current format.
I think that is one of the issues, which is we're all jumping on it, but it's not finished. There is no ceiling here. It's not stopped evolving. We don't know what it is, or whatever it might be to us today is not what it's going to be to us tomorrow. And so to start setting strategies, medium to long term, based on your understanding and deployment or exploitation or optimization of AI is a tricky one because it hasn't stopped moving yet.
It's not stopped moving, no, and it won't stop moving because of the nature of the technology. It's just the case of, computers are so sophisticated. It is the algorithmic age. We're in the algorithmic age, and the algorithms can have serious implications. I just also did a recent LinkedIn post about the serious implications of the algorithmic age, and there's a lot of people who are intertwined with fear about if people don't know the serious implications. And this goes back to making sure that you are aware that, anything public, your public data, that could be used for various different AI developmental components. So that could be, generating images. It could be generating a digital avatar. The possibilities there as well are quite frightening.
Yeah, you thrive on learning, and you thrive on new access to new knowledge, and you are, again, however we define it, you're one of the market's leading experts on this new space that's changing us all. Where do you do your learning?
So I love to have a conversation. I think I learn so much in conversations, and it's one of the reasons why I started the podcast.
Yeah.
It's to educate myself. That was really the primary focus and why I started it. Redefining AI and Convergence, that I co-host with Faisal Haq, who's also quite a well-known thought leader in the space. So Redefining AI, I think I've had about 100 conversations, and this spans the sphere of sort of MIT professors, scientists from NASA, from refugee lawyers to, French scientists that believe in organic AI. It's a whole sphere of individuals, and that has been one of the most interesting ways to educate myself. And I think that as well, Mark, it's like anything. That's how kids learn. They ask questions. It's the curiosity. And the self-driven curiosity is a magical way to learn. And there's many researchers that talk about that people ask less questions, and questions are so important. The more questions, the better you can sort of guide your own self-development.
Having hired people much younger than myself for the last 10 years, they seem to learn from podcasts more than they do books now. It feels like everybody I know, like I still have to ask people, what podcasts are you listening to try, kind of give myself an idea of the next feed. But some of them have been like floods of great information with great stories and pods. Tell me where people can find your pods so that we can continue the learning for everybody else.
Yeah, so the Redefining AI is accessible on all channels. You can access it on Spotify, Apple, Player FM, anywhere where you're listening to your podcast.
Lauren, it has been an absolute privilege. Hopefully we'll have you on again sometime, and thank you for the time you've given us. I've certainly learnt loads, and I hope our listeners have too. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you for inviting me on. Really appreciate it.